Ryan from Rad Wrestling. We're here in Jersey at the Last Match Experience, and I'm here with
Mikayla.
So yeah, really excited. This is sort of like a new concept, so we're really here trying to get like a lot of exposure to this new experience. So Mikayla, thanks a lot for the time. This is gonna be like super like informal.
Cool.
Kind of just want to get to know you and like your story, but yeah, could you just like start with giving like our audience an intro on like you, your background, and kind of sort of like your why, like what motivates you to like do what you do?
Cool. Yeah, so my background is fully in musical theater, singing, dancing, shows, Broadway shows. So I've done like Broadway national tours, Vegas residencies of musicals. And so this is obviously, some of it's consistent, some of it's totally new.
Yeah.
My why is just connecting, just like telling human stories and that shared energy of the audience and people on stage. And I'm so excited to now experience what that is with wrestling, because it's the same thing. It's the call and response, it's the shared energy. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, for sure. Were you a wrestling fan growing up, or is this like your first introduction to wrestling?
This is fully my first introduction.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's really interesting because I think our audience and people we usually talk to, they already have a lot of pre-experience to wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think you're one of the first people we've connected with that is in a wrestling sort of event and you know, theater almost, but you haven't had a previous experience. So can you talk to me a bit about how that has been with your Broadway background and like your deep musical background, kind of transitioning into almost like bridging that gap? Like, has that been difficult, or how would you describe prepping for something that's sort of a new concept?
Yeah, it hasn't been difficult at all. It's been shockingly easier than I expected, and I am fully a mark now. Like I'm in it. I'm a fan. And that happened really fast. Once I think, you know, from the outside, I just didn't know what wrestling was. There's a whole like, is it real? Is it not? You know, what's going on? And so once I did like watched just like basics on wrestling, the history of wrestling, and understood it, and then went and saw a match, and everything clicked. You know, it makes perfect sense. It's so exciting. Mm-hmm. Wrestlers are like just so insanely talented and so smart. So I was instantly in awe, and the fun thing, there's things that are similar and then there's things that are really different. So we're all storytellers, you know, we're both actors and wrestlers are good versus evil, you know, overcoming, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, and it's an ongoing thing. The difference really is, like in musicals that I'm used to, everything's super set, super scripted. Mm-hmm. If you say one line a little bit differently than you're supposed to, you get a line note. You know, it's like you said and it was supposed to be but, you know, whatever. And there are aspects of acting, sometimes I don't really do as much, where you improv. Yep. And that's a whole other thing, but that is a little bit more what wrestlers do. You know, you have your outline, at least my understanding now, and then you're going off of the audience, and you're going off of your, you know, who you're going against, and so that is a fun, exciting thing to mesh in, because we obviously, you know, we have our lines, we have our songs, but we're gonna have to do adjusting, we're gonna have to, you know, if the audience is saying something, if they're booing me, whatever, you know, it's gonna be more of a flexible journey, so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. Can you, so you mentioned adjustments, can you talk about that a little more? So I think, again, this seems to be a bit of a new concept where two kind of different things are coming together and having like a really dope output. Yeah. Like, has there been any challenges with trying to bridge that gap and almost bring two worlds together? And then on the flip side, like, has there been certain things that have been a bit easier than what you would have expected for like prepping for this?
Yeah, so like, you know, the challenges have been really embraced by the team and everything, but for example, you know, we have a script, we have lines that we say, and you know, depending on what's happening, we're saying something a little different, because, you know, that's what wrestlers are used to, whatever. And what's cool is we have our amazing book writer, Jason, who has been here for so much of it, and is like, oh, that works better, write it down. So he's in there editing the script, which is really cool and feels really collaborative.
Yeah.
And there's still going to be flexibility moving forward. So anything that would be kind of a challenge is just like, it's a strength instead. You can always flip it, you know?
No, for sure.
And for me personally, I was super scared to start wrestling.
Of course.
And it was the first couple of days of just doing drills. It was hard,
Yeah.
It's everything that we're trained not to do when it's like break your fall, and this is like fly into the ground and don't try to break your fall or you'll break something. So, hey Terry, what's up? You can walk through. Sorry.
All good. All good. So on the physical part, it's interesting. It's not a typical sport, right? It's more about you got to break falls a certain way.
Yeah.
It's really like people are slamming each other, but you got to like do it in a safe way. Like, has that part been difficult? And then also, did you come from any type of athletic background in the past, and like, did that help at all?
Yeah. I come from a kind of dance background, a little bit of like cheerleading and stuff. So I have a good basis. So once I kind of learned the retraining aspect of stop thinking and just fly, and it's not that bad as long as you don't try to break your fall, land on your knees, which I did do a couple of times. If you trust it, it's going to be fine. But once I did that retraining, I'm feeling really good about it because I have some, I can do some flips and things like that. So I'm like just embracing that aspect and kind of leaning into that and trying to get any sort of like gymnastic things that I can into my match. And I get the insane honor of wrestling Mickie James. She's joining us when we move over to Rochester.
Wow, that's incredible. How are you feeling about that?
I am so incredibly stoked. I'm so honored. I can't wait to meet her. Everyone has the most amazing things to say about her as a wrestler and as a human. So
yeah.
So I'm really
is she
excited.
only going to the Rochester show, or is she going to other spots?
Nope, she's doing the whole tour. It's just that she's been busy. So we've been rehearsing the show, and then we have another week of like more intense rehearsals. So that's when she joins us. She'll learn everything, get plugged in. So my match isn't really set yet. So I've just kind of learned the basics, and then she, I'm sure, will be an insanely amazing mentor, and we can work out our match together.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I only have a few more questions because I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm really curious. Like, can you sort of walk me through right before the first show? Like, what do you think is going to be going through your head? Like, I know you're not there yet, but I assume it's going to be a lot of emotions, nervousness, excitement. Like, if you put yourself in that position where the show is about to start and the bright lights are on, like, how do you think you will be like processing that?
Crazy to imagine, and it's also good to imagine and kind of start prepping myself. I think it's going to be interesting because I'll still be nervous about my singing, the things I'm normally nervous about, being vocally warmed up and, not forgetting any lines. And then there's going to be this whole other monster of wrestling, so I think it's going to be a new type of nerves where there's just a little bit more than normal to prepare for. But that's kind of like maybe the day before or even like the half day leading up, and then once you get to a certain point the mind just goes completely blank, and it's like I gotta just trust that all the work I've been putting in is gonna come in at that moment, because your brain just kind of goes on overdrive.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I feel like that's very applicable to a lot of things. Like, you prepare so much, but then you just have to trust the preparation, and you're just gonna go out there and do your best.
Completely. If you let your brain get in the way in the go time, it will sabotage you.
Wow, absolutely fascinating. So I think what we like to usually do with people we interview is do a little bit of rapid fire trivia.
Okay.
So I just have like a couple quick rapid fires.
Okay.
And just like don't even think about it too much. Just like first thing that comes to your
Speaking of
mind.
turning your brain off.
Favorite meal?
Oh, favorite meal. Thai food.
Ooh, nice.
Like
I'm a big drunk noodle guy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm like a massaman curry.
Oh wow, nice. Favorite movie?
Moulin Rouge.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, classic.
Favorite artist or band?
Favorite artist, Paul Simon. Simon and Garfunkel. Kind of a weird one.
No, I mean, to each his own. And then the last one is something that people wouldn't usually know about you. So sort of a fun fact.
Fun fact. Fun fact, I've been working as an actor for, 11 years professionally, but I'm also a certified sommelier. So I've worked at wineries and in New York City as a sommelier, so.
So are you a red or white person? Or a pink, I don't know.
I love it all, but you know, red is like the go-to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure. Can you just let everybody know like where they can find you on socials and how they can like tap in with you?
Yeah, awesome. On socials, I'm at Mikayla Agrella, and you can also find my info on the website, thelastmatch.com, and we hope to see you somewhere on the East Coast soon.
For sure. Well, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. That's it for this one. Sweet. Thanks a lot.
Turn that shit up. Turn it up.
I'm with the radicals. Yeah, I'm clavicle.
Let's get it.
She got attitude.
Goddamn.
On your avenue. I'm with the radicals.
Oh yeah.
Perry Saturn too.
Let's get it.
I gotta do. What I gotta do.
I'm with the radicals. Radical. Perry Saturn 2. Perry. Benoit Guerrero 2. With that Malenko dude. Let's get it. My shorty go like, ooh. When I'm in that, you. That's why I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm with the radicals. I'm radical. Feeling tactical. With Randy Savage too. Randy. The gratitude. Yeah, you acting kinda rude. Just the interlude. Let's get it. Don't kill the mood. Yeah. For the streets like food. Yeah. I'm with the radicals. Radical sounding classical. I spit the